Did you know spiky dinosaurs with sledgehammer-like tails roamed Western Canada? Well, now you know. And a researcher at the Royal BC Museum who helped discover the species thinks she may have figured out how ankylosaurs use their weaponized tails. And it's not what she initially thought.
The back half of the tail is kind of stiff and would move as kind of the single axe-like unit. So I just had a paper published looking at how ankylosaurs use their tail clubs. The study that we've just done uses a very special species of this ankylosaur called Zuul, which is a dinosaur I helped name back in 2017. Zuul is named after the monster from Ghostbusters of the same name. And then the second part of the name, curator, which is a little bit more of a mouthful, actually means destroyer of shins. And the general idea that the tails would have been swung at the legs of attacking meat-eating dinosaurs. So even though I'm the one who suggested the name, we now have some evidence that suggests that it might not have been primarily used for destroying shins, but actually maybe more for destroying flanks and sides. On the fossil of Zuul, some of the spikes down by the hips are actually missing these sharp-pointed tips, and they were damaged while Zuul was alive, because we can see that some of them are healing or have already healed all the way back to a sort of new blunt shape. So what caused those injuries? If they were injuries from a predator, we'd probably expect to see them more randomly distributed on the body. You'd probably expect to see some on the top of the body because tyrannosaurs are kind of taller than ankylosaurs, they bite downwards. And that's just not what we see. So all of the damage is basically just back by the hips. So we think our best explanation is that these are actually injured spikes from another Zuul. So that's actually really common among modern animals with specialized weapons. So things like deer or bighorn sheep will use their horns and antlers for fighting each other, not really so much for defending against predators most of the time. So we've got these kind of different lines of evidence that are suggesting now that tail clubs could be good weapons as defense, but were probably mostly used for fighting members of their own species. Yeah, so it's been really fun. I've been thinking about ankylosaurs for like 15 years now. I think it's really special to get to follow this one particular species and one particular animal sort of from start to finish. And there's still lots more that we have to study about this particular dinosaur, but this is definitely like a real highlight for me.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, bringing British Columbia's stories together.